You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kirsten.
The Big Show.
Testing one.
Some say that karma is a bitch. Some say that karma is a bitch.
To the Big Show.
Okay, so last week I had to travel to San Jose on business. I called about 3 hotels. They didn't have anything. Apparently there was a map.
Have you looked it up, Caps fans? It's the Big Show. Yes, it is. Washington Capitals beating Columbus Blue Jackets. And some say that karma is a bitch. What do you think? It's the Big Show, Caps on Tap.
I guessed it was a haunted hotel because the minute I walked in...
This is my friend that stayed in a haunted hotel. She saw real ghosts, no nightmares, and Bobrovsky will be seeing real ghosts and not nightmares for a long time to come. Yeah. They pronounce it Ovechkin in Russia. That's right. Washington Capitals fans, you're listening to the spin-off show of Truth on Tap. More of a daughter show, really. Caps on Tap. We only broadcast after a win because I have noticed that people don't much like to come in and listen to information about their team once they've lost. Just been my experience, which is why maybe when the show gets a little bigger, I'll run it after losses. But what are we going to do? Sit there and bitch? This is what the second line did wrong. You know, I don't like bitching about everything. People are in a bad mood when we lose. So, I don't know. I don't even know if I will do a show after we lose, even if it does get big. I see the glass half full, and I like to see the puck fully in. So, when we're shooting it. We're going to talk about it tonight. I'm bringing up the box score right now. Truth on Tap is the main radio show I do, and then Caps on Tap is the Washington Capitals show I started also about 3 months ago. And, you know, it's picking up some steam. People are tuning in more and more each episode as it grows. These episodes, this show has not been picked up by iHeartRadio like Truth on Tap has, so it's not seeing as large of an audience. But it does allow it to get uploaded to YouTube and all that automatically and get automatically shared. So we do have some benefit going on there for the show, something kind of in its corner, if you will. Alexander Ovechkin putting it home, biscuits in baskets. Bread's on sale. Turns out this basket is overflowing. It wasn't really overflowing tonight, but goddamn it, that was enough for me. Yeah, it's a cussing show. Get the kids out of the room. We don't hold anything back here on Caps on Tap, and that goes for Truth on Tap as well. But tonight we are talking hockey. We're talking hockey. And we're talking about there's a new black Jesus in town. Do you know him? Yeah. His name rhymes with Fordo, or I guess you could say Lordo. You might even say El Gordo. It's Wardo. It's Joel Ward. Puck luck is a term that has been used frequently in the same sentence with his name. I say maybe. There's nothing wrong with saying that because he is getting some lucky bounces, but he's also coming in with some mad skill. Now, you've heard me criticize Joel Ward, and I've got a special announcement tonight. You've heard me criticize Joel Ward in the past, not because he's not good. I think he's a great player. I think he's overactive, and because he's overactive, it decreases his puck awareness. Now, this was something I said about a month ago. You can listen to the old episodes. In other words, Joel Ward, so busy, like one of those kids, what I compare him to is one of those kids, you're holding a 2-year-old, their legs are gone before you put them down. That's him. So he'll skate in the corner and get a puck. There'll be no defender around him. Let's say the defender's not even 30 feet away, he's further than 30 feet away. Joel starts throwing elbows and shit. And you're going, hey, Wardo, yeah, psst, psst, hey, homie, ain't nobody around you, man. You could look around. You might be able to have somebody in the front. He does. He's always battling. He's in a battle mindset. And I think they're pulling him out of it and saying, Joel, we love it when you grind. Please keep grinding. You're the hardest worker on the team, or at least tied with a Brooks Laich or Jason Chimera when it comes to who's going to grind. But take some time to look around the ice, man. You're working too hard and not being aware enough because of how hard you're focused on the puck instead of being aware of what's around you on the ice. Tonight I've got an announcement to make. As you know, I keep a backbone squad. in my mind. This is not the best players on the team. It's the players to whom I believe all other players are connected. That's why I call them the backbone squad. These are players that if you pluck them out of the lineup, you hurt other players. You know who I'm talking about. You see it happen when players are plucked out. I mean, you might have an OV plucked out, and they might have a great game after, but I'm talking about over the course of time. You pull an OV out, you hurt a Nicky. You do. You necessarily hurt a Nicky. Things like that. So my backbone players, as you know, as it stands right now, are Ovi, Nicky, Chimera. Some of you are surprised to hear Fair, and Holpe. Well, Fair was put on notice because he stopped performing. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened, if it was just bad bounces or what. But it takes some time to get kicked off of the backbone club, and it takes time to get on. And tonight we are replacing Fair with Ward. We are replacing Fair with Ward. Fair can always make it back on the backbone club. There's room for 6 or 7 up there. I've only got 5 right now. I loved what the guy was doing. I thought he was like an invisible man, the way he played. He would just show up, and before the goalie even knew that there was an offensive threat in front of him, the lamp was spinning. That's the kind of magic I like in an ozone. And Fair was bringing it in the preseason and early this season. And then he fell off again like he did last year. So that could come back. You don't know. Look at somebody like Ward. Best season he's had in his whole career. He's 33 years old, 33 or 34. You don't know when it's going to come. Jason Chimera's 33 or 34 now. It doesn't take an 18-year-old super mega star out of Europe somewhere. Homeboys can rise up at 32 years old and be like, I'm the king now, bitches. And there must be some sort of crossing point, wouldn't you say, on the graph of when experience has risen high enough, but physical abilities have not dropped down low enough to be a factor, and they cross. And there is your apex. There is your highlight year in your career, where your education was high because of how many years you've played, but your physical prowess had not slipped yet. That is the perfect year for an NHL player, barring injuries. Sorry to hear about Stamkos. We're going to talk a little about him tonight. Let me finish bringing up this box score. You will be hearing some music tonight at the end of the show from a local band I like to promote, local and unknown artists, Bad Ace. Bad Ace I always play. I know the drummer in that band, and they are a local group. They play right in my little town. And then you're also going to hear Jazz Addicts getting crazy on the scratching. Remember scratching? Scratching used to be ass-kickingest when it was done well. You can fuck up a scratch, can't you? When you're scratching on the 2 turntables, oh, you can mess it up. One wrong move and it's over. I've lost my groove. I don't want to hear any more of the song.
To Truth on Tap
scratching has to be
with
perfect,
host
but once it's perfect for like 20, 30 seconds straight, you just want to fucking start breaking stuff around you, don't you? That's the way I am. Yeah. For those that may be tuning in to the first show tonight, couple of things for you here. First, I would like to take just a moment to remind you what you're listening to. And if you don't recognize that voice, I'll give you 3 guesses. I'll give you 3 guesses as to who that voice was. Do you know who that voice was, ladies and gentlemen? Think hard now. If you've never been to a Caps game and you only watch him on TV, I'll give you a clue. He's not one of the TV announcers. Is not one of the TV announcers. Got it yet? No? Still don't have it? All right, I'll give you another clue. So you're watching the Capitals play. There was a score. We scored about a minute ago, right? They've dropped the puck. We've got the face-off. We're going. Somebody in that arena begins announcing the details of the score and the assist. Who is it? It is Wes Johnson, the greatest arena announcer to ever speak across a microphone. Oh, he's got a history. He's been in radio and TV. Greatest voice you're ever going to hear come across speakers. Way better than mine. Way better than Don Imus. Way better than anybody else. And even that movie guy. Remember the movie guy? One man, one mission. Well, I can't do that because he sounds like he's smoked for about 70 years. You know, he's got the thing going too. Wes Johnson can do all that, but then he can sound like a wizard from fucking southern Israel, and then the next thing you know, he's a noble from Scotland. You can't mess with Wes Johnson. Magic is what it is. Magic is greatness, and Wes Johnson has greatness. He can throw the voice around. You get in his face, he'll throw the body around. He's yelling stuff. Wes has it going on, and I have to compare him to a new superstar every time I do a show. So this time, I'm going to go ahead and compare him to one of his own favorites. He is Doctor Who. He's Doctor Who. He can go back in time. You see it. I mean, remember, they scored a minute ago, but he's got people excited now. How do you do that if you can't go back in time? I've seen his phone booth. He carries a little closet around with him, a little phone booth, and he doesn't change into Superman when he goes in because he doesn't have to. He's Doctor Who. Yeah, Dr. Wes Johnson, that's who I'm talking about. You can find him at wesjohnson.com. He's more than just a voice, that's for damn sure. Oh, let's see what else we got here. Looking for my box score because I like to have that up for a guide. I like to look at penalties, scores, and assists. Penalty scores and assists, always important in a game. This is something we need to keep tabs on, Caps fans, because do you know what's going on? Do you see what's happening with our team? Oh, I know all of you have a few complaints. You're seeing some things you don't like here and there. But do you see the penalties? We got to talk about it. Let's talk about what's going on in the NHL right now. Right now. You know, why don't they tell me if this is a final score here? I need to know if this is a final score. I don't like the way they have it set up. End of first, end of third, Okay, so these games are all in progress. All right, so in progress right now. Maybe I guess they're in a shootout or something. So Tampa Bay, 1-0 over Montreal. Okay, I don't know. Yeah, I guess they're in progress right now. And then 5 minutes left in the third on Philly and Ottawa. Philly winning 5-0. Very unlike them because they suck, and so do their fans. Let's see. Winnipeg and Detroit all knotted up at 2-2. I think they're in the shootout. I'm not sure. No, I'm sorry. They're in the third. They're in the third period. I have trouble reading these dark gray bars with light gray text. So yeah, it's a little, it's a little graphics thing. But here we go. So you got Phoenix and St. Louis. Phoenix beating St. Louis at the moment. It's the end of the second period. They're winning 2-1. Close one there. And at the end of the first out west, we've got San Jose, or what some of you proper people like to say, San Jose, and Calgary. San Jose winning 2-0. No big surprise there. Let's see who scored there. Couture and Marleau, of course. Let's see. Now, these are the games that are already done real quick. L.A. Buffalo, 3-2. Buffalo takes that one. Islanders Nashville. Islanders take it 3-1. New Jersey and the Rangers. New Jersey pulling it out 3-2. You know about Columbus, Washington 4-3. We get our win. And then Carolina beats Colorado 2-1. How is that even possible? Anaheim and Florida. How's that even possible? Florida beat Anaheim 3-2. What is this, Freaky fucking Friday in the NHL? If you appreciate my use of alliteration, please leave a comment on the Facebook page, facebook.com/Truth on Tap Show, which covers Truth on Tap and Caps on Tap. Looking at the box score here, pulling that up for this game tonight between the Washington Capitals and the Columbus Blue Jackets. Box score, please come on up. Will the real Bobrovsky please stand up and leave your 5-hole open so we can win the cup? I just made that up. I like to rhyme. Let's go ahead and see here. So here's what happened. First period, nothing, honey. I was okay. They had a little bit of an extended zone time there. We began to get lazy. And I'm going to talk about problems with our team as I talk about this game. I'm going to go ahead and talk about our team instead of just focusing on this game this time. We have an issue. When we get comfortable playing D, like it's a power play when it's not, we tend to stay there. You try to break the puck out and it gets brought back in by somebody, we get comfortable. It gets so comfortable that after about a minute of them being in our zone, you'll notice that we're playing like we're on a power play. Now, I know the guy's legs are tired then, but you got to try to get the puck out when you're tired. You got to get that line change. And you'll see our guys settle in as if they're bracing for the power play when it's 5-on-5 or 4-on-4. No, Caps, don't do that. Get the puck out. Don't just get it out. How about skating the goddamn thing out and skating it into the other zone? We're seeing more of it, but we're still not seeing enough of that. That's how teams get to Stanley Cup finals. They skate the puck out, then they skate the puck in, then they pass tape to tape. That's what you do. Need a lot more of that. We had some of that tonight. I was pleased with what happened after the second, or after the first. But look at the ones that did go in. Holpe, he's got to work on his 5-hole a little, but he's still a great goalie. You know that. His numbers speak for themselves. For those of you that don't know, a guy that's got the puck on a break, he's going to do one of two things. He's probably either going to go top shelf, which is always a risk, because if you're on a break and you shoot it over the bar, your fans and they kind of let you have it. Even though you were really legitimately going for the top shelf, there was an opening there. Whereas if you hit the goalie, they're not as harsh on you. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a subconscious thing. Another thing they're going to try to do is get that goalie moving laterally, because you'll rarely see a goalie who can quickly move laterally without exposing that 5-hole. So that's where you get your forehand backhand in. You want to get them moving laterally, because they have to throw one leg out and then the other leg has to catch up with it. And that's how they caught Holtz tonight on the break. We'll go ahead and talk about these. So Dubinsky with the shorthanded goal to open up. Bad. Don't ever let Dubinsky have a puck. I don't care who's on the power play. Just don't let him have it. He's dangerous. He knows what to do with it when he's alone with a goalie. And he's going to score. And he did. And Holtz bid a little bit on the backhand fake. He bid a little bit on it, but he kind of has to. A goalie has to play the puck. If you cheat, you're going to get beaten every time, and he didn't cheat. Had he cheated, he may have actually stopped that one tonight. His glove was an inch away from stopping it. However, had he cheated, Dubinsky may have been smart enough to go ahead and let go on that backhand and would have scored going past his right pad. So there's really no way to win that when your team hangs you out to dry one-on-one. Surprisingly, it's not like it was a shootout thing, and he had all kinds of time to prepare and pick his angles and all that. He didn't get time to figure out if he was going to play deep in the net or come out and try a poke check. It was just bam, Dubinsky's got it. Then a couple dekes and it's in. No good. Not allowed. When you give a team a shorthanded goal, you give them a lot of hope. You see what it did for us when Wardo got ours. I'd like one of you guys to look up, if you don't mind, when was the last time in a hockey game that both teams scored a shorthanded goal? I think that's been extremely rare. But please pull it up for me. I'll bet it hasn't happened in a few years. Put it on the Facebook page if you care to. So we got that one. That one started it up. And then Johnny Carlson with the wrist shot, assist Erat Grabowski, made it 1-1. I'm sitting here looking, and I'm thinking about that goal. How about that motherfucking goal? John Carlson turned on the burners. This is not something you see him do very often. He's a tough guy. He's in good condition, but he's not known for his speed. He turns on the burners to get past that defender, as Erat is working some magic there, isn't he? Does the diving one-handed pass to get it out there in that open area. The Bobrovsky makes the mistake of coming out to play the puck. I realize that's a very split-second decision. Do I want to go out and play that puck? It's loose right now. But he knows, here's the goalie thinking, Erat could leap and tap it over. Now, if I go out to play it, I'm fucked if he gets the tap, so I've got to get that puck. Well, it looked like he hesitated, and that's what got him. So Erat gets the tap to the right. Johnny Carlson puts the puck and himself in the net. We'll take it. At that point, it's a 1-1 tie. Then, next thing you know, a little justice. Shorthanded goal, Joel Ward, wrist shot, assist to Alexander Erbaum. And Brooks like 2-1 Washington. But what is it, Caps fans? What's the problem? Washington doesn't like to be in the lead, do we? No. Very uncomfortable playing with a lead. I'm getting sick of this. I'm getting too old for this shit. I may be only 41, but my heart, when it comes to watching Caps hockey, is about 87 with routine failures. And this cardiac cap shit's not getting it done for me. You may say it's boring. Give me a 2-goal lead and hang on to it. Give me a 3-goal lead and hang on to it. Let me relax and enjoy the game. God damn this back and forth. And as soon as we're losing, or as soon as we're winning, somebody's going to give it up. The defense is going to slack. Holpe's going to let a softie in. Something's going to give up so we can get it tied again. Stop that shit. We need to teach this team to start playing as if they're always losing. How about that? Could we have a little of that? Yeah, stop that sitting back on a lead bullshit. Just can't stand being in the lead, man. Gave it right up. What, a minute or two later? Well, it was. Let's see, about 2 minutes later, 2 minutes and 20 seconds or so. Jared Bowl comes in, deflected shot off of his. I think it was off of his thigh or something. And if you look there, his skate just about caught Grabo in the face. That could have been a disaster. Assist Wisniewski and Collins. And then what happens? A mere 3 minutes later, bam, Cam Atkinson, the shorty. Yeah, and he's a fast guy, but he's the one that got Holpe in the 5-hole with Holpe sliding across and a wrist shot assist to Dubinsky. And then Grabo, Galabo, Mikhail Grabovski with the wrist shot with less than 2 minutes to play. Bam, bam, we're tied. We're going to OT. The momentum was squarely with us. That assist was Jason Chimera and Mike Green. Mike Green with a dumb penalty tonight. We're seeing a lot of dumb penalties lately. Mike Green, pretty well known for dumb penalties at dumb times. I'm sorry, but that's why he's not on my backbone squad. I see erratic performance from him. Erratic performance. And he may make it, and I know he's a good D-man. He's probably the best offensive D-man, but there's a reason that the Canadians never won him for their team for the Olympics. It's kind of a thing. It's just something that is a novelty almost, having a D-man that can score. Mike Green has to be smarter on his passing. He's got to be way smarter on his penalties. Getting tired of the dumb penalties, and we need him to get back to basics, get back to tic-tac-toe. He launches these shots from the point, especially on the power play. They're not going in. I realize he has to remain a threat, but here's what you do, Mike. Stop shooting high. Start shooting low and hoping for deflections, okay? Start skating a little bit away from the point. Skate down in some. I see you skating across. Skate down in some. Do a rotation with OV or something. You can rotate with Nicky. Get something moving there. Get a grind going. And you'll see people start getting confused. And then the next thing you know, at a minimum, you got an OV open on the backside sneaking in. So that'll look good if he gets that taken care of. Mike Green, a good player, but not showing us enough consistently, is my claim. So then, 1:34 into the overtime period, Washington. OV gets the wrist shot, the assist, Mojo, and Johnny Carlson. Mojo has been kind of on my target list lately because I don't see him using the speed I want to see him use. Bernie called in the other night and was talking. Bernie Deal, for those that don't know, he's a co-host with the show sometimes, just like Chris Levesque. And he says that Mojo is a center who is now having to control his speed. I agree with that. I agree you can't be reckless with your speed because you'll overskate everything. But I've seen him on breaks where there's got to be a race for the puck, and he just doesn't turn on the burners. And I can think of no good reason for him not to turn on those burners. Mojo, you've got crazy passing skills, crazy skating skills. You've got speed. You got as much speed as Chimera if you want to use it. And I don't see you using it. So I need to see more speed from Mojo. But he's producing where it counts, isn't he? He's getting points. He's getting assists. I love the way a Swede plays hockey. They're going to pass well. They're going to skate well. They're going to have smart hockey sense. So it's beautiful. So good for him, good for Mojo, but he's still not on my backbone club. I need to see max effort out of him. That's how Jason Chimera got on there. And Jason has earned it, by the way, if you look at goals. But I wasn't even worried about that. I was worried about, on the backbone club, if you take him out, who does it hurt? You take a Chimera out, you hurt Wardo. You can hurt Wardo pretty bad, or a Fair, or a Grabo. Whatever, So, yeah, we'll keep it going here. That was the end of the game. That made it 4-3, Washington. How about Steven Stamkos? I believe he was in the lead for goals. It breaks his tibia, I believe. Sliding into a net. Not a common injury in hockey. Those nets are made to easily slide off, and you've got padding on your legs. So it's not a common injury, but if you hit it just right, then the fulcrum, the impact being at a point where leverage is applied to both sides of the bone, away from that center point, just the right way, and snap, you got a broken bone. And that's what happened to him. I got to admit something. I felt when I first heard it, when I first saw it on NHL Network highlights last night, there was actually a shot of joy that went through me. You ever get that? Well, we're animals, aren't we? I mean, we're in competition. We're in competition, and especially sports fans in competition. You're put into the mindset of win, beat 'em, win. And so when you see the misfortune of another team, the misfortune of an individual who was going to give your guy a hell of a run for his money, the initial feeling, whether people want to admit it or not, is joy. Then your conscience sneaks back in. Mine did. And I said, why would I hope for that? Not only could OV get this anyway, but now that Stamkos is hurt, we're going to have to hear, well, if Stamkos hadn't been injured, just like we heard last year, if Crosby hadn't been injured. I'm so sick of that. I'm just tired of that. And there's something to be said for a player's durability. You know, I'm not saying Stamkos was brittle, but you look through the history at who plays hurt, who doesn't play hurt, who can still be effective hurt, and who cannot. You'll see one name rising above them all, and I'll leave that to your imagination. So, yeah, I'm hoping that Stamkos gets well soon. Maybe he'll be back before the end of the season. You don't know. I mean, it could be a 3-month thing. Look how fast Carlson healed when he had the Achilles cut 70 or 80% of the way through. Some people heal faster than others. Some people are really tough. Once the doctor gives them the go and says, look, this is going to hurt like shit, but you're not going to hurt it by playing. You're not going to hurt it worse. They'll go. They're on their skates. They'll pay the price in the locker room after. So he could be back soon. You know, Stamkos he's not going anywhere. Yeah, they got to make sure the bone heals just right to give it all the strength it had before. You don't want to get that misaligned or anything, or you start running into all kinds of problems. But, you know, you got to trust that he's only getting the best surgeons available. So his career's not going to hurt. He may lose a micro step on his breakaway speed, a micro step, or a micro degree on his turning ability, or maybe sudden stopping ability, whatever. But it's not going to affect. He's still going to be a great player. Nobody's going to stop him. He could have broken both legs, and he would have been back just as strong. So he'll be fine. But with Tampa Bay, I mean, God, they were doing good. I think they were like 12-5. You know, kind of coming out of nowhere with a record like that. So good on them. They'll get him back. They're just going to have to fill in, just like if we had a hurt OV. When I saw OV go down the other night, I thought we might have, seriously, folks, for a second, looking at the way he reacted and knowing what I know about OV, I thought we might have a broken neck. I honestly did. I suspected possible paralysis from the neck down, because at first he could move his limbs. You saw him react in pain, throwing his legs and arms around. Then they faded, as if all the electricity had just been taken out of him, and they all went flat. There was no wiggles. There was no nothing. He just laid there. And when you're hurt, when your face is hurt, or something has hit you, or you've twisted an arm or an ankle, you reach for it, you touch it. He wasn't moving. And I got to tell you, I was a nervous motherfucker. I sure was. Sitting in my chair going, don't let this be, man. So anyway, we're lucky there. Russian machine never break. Sometimes does need to be serviced. He was out a couple games, you know. You had to get a tune-up. You had to turn some of the screws in that Terminator motherfucker, because he be taking hits all the time. Well, he gives hits. He doesn't take them, but he takes hits on the give. He's not afraid to hit 3 or 4 people on one shift. It's not unknown for him. And that's another thing. If you ever hear anybody compare OV and Crosby, just bring up, you only need to say one word, hits, and they're going to look real dumb, and you can walk away. You've won. Crosby doesn't hit. OV gets 450 hits a year. Crosby might get 90. Half of those are softies. So, you know, don't try to compare those two. And the NHL knew that too, and that's why OV's got 3, and I think Crosby's got 1 MVP, and OV will get another one this year if he stays healthy. He'll probably be one of only 2 players to have more than 3, I think. Gretzky had like 9. He had like 9 MVPs in a row, man. It was a ridiculous amount. Maybe a total of like 10 or 11. I can't remember. But, you know, OV could climb that high. He's got time. But he sure does bring a complete game, man. He really does. And I think you should be rewarded for it. When you bring hitting to those other 3 main areas, you know, the handling and the skating and the shooting, you bring hitting into that, you're creating a complete and rounded player. We won't keep it on too long tonight. You know, we've talked about the win. We're seeing Erat. Maybe he's starting to find his comfort zone with that first line. I don't know. Brower's pretty consistent. He comes to play every time, and he's getting a little more confident in his shooting. I don't think we're going to see a lot of change in Brouwer. He just is, and he's doing well, and that's all you can ask. Like Like seems to have lost a step for me, but he is a workhorse, so I feel a sense of faith in him. But I don't know. I feel a need. I feel a need to want to see him improve his game, get more in the goalie's face, start crashing the net. Bull Patty, Alsner, I call him the belt buckle. He's just kind of there. We need him, but he doesn't do anything. Urban playing well. Love me some Swedes. Ward, Wilson. Wilson's fading a little bit. Have you noticed? Yeah, I warned you guys about that. These new guys make the team. They'll chill for a while. Wilson, we need him dropping the gloves every other game or so. Lada looking good. He's got a kind of a passive aggressive tendency out there. That can be fun sometimes if you've got room for it on your team, and we have room for it. Green, he's inconsistent for me. I'm not liking what I see. Oleksi's been goofing these last few games. He was doing really well and, dropping the gloves a lot and being a tough guy. So let's hope he finds his groove again. Johnny Carlson coming into his own. He is definitely perking up here in these last few games for a D-man. Mojo and Schmidt. Schmidt is one of those guys who stays below the radar, but at least he's not afraid to take a shot, and I like that about him. I don't like when a D-man always passes. Sometimes you take the goddamn shot. Mojo, not showing me all the speed I'd like to see, but doing very well nonetheless. Holtby, holding his own, man. He's holding his own. His numbers speak for themselves. All you can ask, any goaltender, is any good goaltender in the NHL is to stop 9 out of 10 pucks coming his way. If he's stopping more than that, he's a good goalie. So you can kind of leave him the fuck alone. Now, tonight, he didn't quite do that. It was an .889 for the game. But look at his average, and he's up there around .920, I think, or .930. So that works for me. That's the guy we leave in there. Nuvi, unfortunately for me, I think he's a bit inconsistent. I couldn't... It's hard. I'm not just going to sit here and say, well, when Nuvi has a bad game, he has a terrible game, because that's not always true. But something happens with him. I don't know what it is. There's a breaking point with Nuvi where it seems like he knows there's a loss coming and he gives up. And I don't know what that is. I don't always see it. It's spotty. So again, that comes down to that dirty word, inconsistency. And I'm sorry, but Holtby has a consistency. He doesn't always have consistency in a game. He'll be up and down during the game, but he has a consistency game to game. You know what you're going to see. You know what you're going to get from him. And I like predictability. It gives me a little comfort with a goalie. If he can stop 9 out of 10 and give me some predictability, I'll take him. That's all you can ask from a goalie. So that's all I'm asking from him, and he's doing. He's delivering on that. Healthy scratches tonight were Fair, who has been dismissed from my backbone club. Eric, you can make it back in. Don't hate, appreciate. Dmitry Orlov, I don't know why we're not seeing more of him. And Jay Beagle. I haven't heard much about Beagle lately. Maybe somebody can update me on the page on how things are going with him. We're going to call that the end of this broadcast. I did not check to see if we had chat. I almost hope we didn't, because I hate to ignore people. So, yeah. So, let's see here. This is really strange. Broadcasting turned off. Started, connected. Well, alright. Well, maybe we're broadcasting. I don't know. Let's hope so.
Hey yo, ladies and gentlemen, meet your adrenaline, settle in, it's medicine. Doper than a 7-man, provoking you to let us in. Vocals are effortless, hoping you never miss when approaching the